Never knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with.
Is with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. The FDA just passed a bill allowing girls as young as 15 access to Plan B morning after pill, a birth control pill, not birth control, abortion pill, as young as 15 years old. A lot of Americans are outraged about it, but there are some Americans out there who believe that they should allow any age. 15 is not young enough. They feel that any age girl should be able to go in and buy an abortion pill or a box of them and just take it without the consent of the parents. Jody Jacobson is with me, president and editor-in-chief of RH Reality Chat, a daily publication providing news, commentary, and analysis on sexual and reproductive health and justice issue. And Jody believes that they should not have put an age limit on it. Jody, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you being here. Do you have kids?
I do. I have 2 kids.
Girls or boys?
Both.
Oh, and how old are your kids?
My daughter is 16 and my son is 13.
And do you feel that it's okay for your daughter, she goes out tonight, have sex with some young 14 or 15-year-old guy, stop off at the drugstore and buy the morning after pill?
If my daughter were to have unprotected sex, which having spoken with her about these issues and my son since they were little, I believe they both would be responsible about having sex if they were to have sex, although they're not having sex now. If they were to have unprotected sex, I would absolutely want her to be able to have access to that.
To the pill, the abortion pill.
Yes, and I just want to correct something that you said earlier. Emergency contraception is not an abortion pill. It is not an abortifacient. It prevents ovulation, and it only works within 72 hours after unprotected sex.
Well, they're not sure exactly what the pill does at this point.
Yes, no, absolutely. The science is now unequivocal. You can look on the website for research by Princeton University, which has a full website devoted to the emergency contraceptive pill. It is unequivocally proven now that emergency contraception, Plan B,
well, they're not sure.
Ovulation.
And that's neither here nor there. The fact that
actually, it is here nor there because to call it an abortifacient is misleading.
It does. I realize that this pill does delay ovulation, but it can also prevent implementation.
It cannot prevent implantation.
Right.
It cannot prevent implantation.
It can.
It has no. The mechanism of action does not work.
No, the science said that it can also prevent implementation.
I mean, this is my field of expertise.
Egg.
It does not work that way.
Okay, well, that's not what science is saying. But let me go back to the point. Let me ask: is your husband okay with his children or his daughter taking the abortion pill, the morning after pill?
Again, it's not an abortion pill, A. It's a contraceptive.
Is he okay with
that? Sorry?
Is he okay with it, your husband?
My ex-husband and I both have, as I said, talked to our kids all their lives long. And, yes, my ex-husband would be okay with my daughter rather than having her risk pregnancy when she was not ready to be pregnant. We would prefer that she be protected. But I have no doubt because, You see, I think there's a sort of moral panic going on here. If you have the kind of relationship with your child where all their lives you've talked to them about these kinds of things, then you have the kind of relationship where your kid's going to come to you. The issue here really is about teen pregnancy prevention and access for women of all ages to be able to get access to a medication that is safe and can prevent unintended pregnancy.
A 15-year-old girl is not a woman. So you're telling me that at 15, your daughter is ready for sex, but not ready for pregnancy?
If my daughter were to have sex, and which, again, I'm fairly certain she's not now, but if she were to have sex, I absolutely would not want her to get pregnant.
And why would she be ready at 15 years old to have sex, period? That's too young to be having sex.
Well, we can agree on that.
I know, but if you're okay with her having sex at 15, you should be okay with her having a baby. It shows that she's responsible.
I think you're twisting my words here. We can agree that it's too young for a 15-year-old to have sex, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. We have to live in the real world. And in the real world, we have an issue in this country with unplanned pregnancy and unintended pregnancy. And that problem exists throughout, above 15 years old, into your 20s. If you have, let's say you have...
But the only reason that we are having that problem...
Excuse me, may I finish?
I know, but let me just say this first. The only reason we're having that problem in America is because of parents like you who are encouraging these young girls to have sex by saying, well, if you do have sex, here's an abortion pill, here's this and here's that. You're encouraging them. Decent parents are not encouraging their daughters in no form or fashion to have sex at 15.
I don't think I'm encouraging my daughter to have a car accident if I ask her to use a seatbelt, nor am I encouraging my son to have an accident if I encourage him to use a seatbelt. This is a prevention method for somebody that finds themselves in the situation where they have had unprotected sex or where they've had protected sex, let's say with a condom, and the condom
That's
breaks.
not a good comparison, but let's move this conversation further. You want, and your organization want girls younger than 15 to be able to get these abortion pills. At what age is there a limit for you?
It's not an abortion pill. And what the science shows...
What age? You say 15, they should not have sex at 15.
From ages 11 up,
11.
Girls who have been sexually active and have had unprotected sex understand the packaging and understand the issues with regard to the one-time use of emergency contraception. The issue here really is that once you put something behind a pharmacy counter, the barrier to getting it is very high.
Good.
Yes, well, then you have a
but
problem
Jody, let me just get it clear for the audience. Let me get it clear for the audience. You want girls as young as 11 years old to be able to go into a pharmacy, a drugstore, and get the morning after pill without even allowing the parents to approve it or know about it.
I want policy.
Give me a yes.
It has nothing to do with the parents. The parents could approve it. I know, but
give me a yes. Give me a yes or no on this.
Even if the parent goes, she still can't get it without a prescription. If you don't have a prescription in the time needed to get the actual medication, it won't be worth anything.
I know, but give me a yes or no on this. You want 11-year-old girls to be able to walk into a drugstore and pick up a bottle of these this morning after pill and just take it, right? 11 years old. You want 11-year-old girls to be able to do it.
I want policy and public health to be driven by data. You can sensationalize this as much as you want.
No, what age?
I want policy and public health to be driven by data. The data say that making this available over the counter is the most important thing we can do
and
to prevent unwanted pregnancy.
I know, but you want it for 11-year-old, right?
The data say that it should be made available over the counter.
Jody, do you want it for 11-year-old girls?
The data say that 11-year-old girls and up should be able to make available of this method without a prescription.
Without the permission of the parents. Let me take a quick break. Come back in a moment.
There's a calm I can't explain.
The FDA has approved the so-called morning after pill, allowing young girls as young as 15 years old to just stop off at the drugstore right after she finished having sex and buy a bottle of abortion pills and just pop them without the parents even approving it or knowing about it. My guest, Jody Jacobson, feel that it should be at least 11 years old. She's upset that they put the age limit at 15. She believes that it should be 11 years old. So can you imagine your 11-year-old girl having sex and going to the drugstore and getting an abortion pill? Just think about that, folks. Jody, what's your thoughts on the Philadelphia abortionist Kermit Gosnell's trial? How are you feeling about that?
I just want to reiterate one thing.
Yes.
You keep referring to emergency contraception as an abortion pill.
I mean,
and
you're
it is
calling
not.
it emergency contraception. I'm calling it what it is. We need to face reality.
Well, reality is what the science says, and it is not an abortion.
But there's a different opinion of science
No, it's
here.
not an opinion. It's a fact.
No.
It's a fact.
But
I mean, do you have a public health degree?
Science doesn't dictate what my daughter should or should not do. I really don't care what science has to say about it. Anyone who says that an 11-year-old or 15-year-old girl or 17-year-old girl should be allowed to have sex and then go pop a pill is out of their mind. It doesn't matter. Science is dumb. Well, some of the scientists are dumb. And I don't wait to hear what science have to say about a pill before I can tell my children what they can and cannot do.
That's a different issue.
What do you
That's
think
a different
about,
issue than claiming a form of medication does something it doesn't do.
It's not
That's
medication.
A different issue.
It's abortion pill. But let me ask, I gave a speech last year and I said that liberal women are creating a shameless society. This isn't an example of that. This is why liberal women shouldn't be allowed to be out on their own, because they don't make good decisions. They make decisions that destroys families, destroys lives, destroys morality. This is a perfect example of that. Wouldn't you agree?
No. No, I don't agree at all.
Why not?
First of all, I don't know what you mean by liberal women.
Women
but
like you.
If you are talking
about women
sex,
like you.
It takes two people to have sex, for one thing.
We talk about children.
I'm sorry, I'm not really clear what you're talking about.
We're talking about children having sex, and now they can pop a pill and have an abortion without the consent or even the parents knowing about it. That is immoral. It shows the lack of respect for life from women like you, and you ladies should not be allowed on the street on your own because you don't make good decisions. You need good men to guide you in the right way to go.
I see. I need good men to guide me.
Yes.
Because men don't have sex.
No, because liberal women make bad decisions. But let me ask, what do you think about Kermit, the abortion doctor's trial? Are you in support of the doctor, or should he go to prison and be hung from his toenails?
First of all, he's not a doctor. Second of all, what Kermit Gosnell did is criminal, was illegal, and obviously he will almost certainly go to prison.
Good. Are you a Christian, by the way?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's very relevant because we have.
Well, I don't discuss my faith publicly. It's not relevant to this discussion.
Are you embarrassed of your faith?
Not at all.
Well, the fact that you support this and you want 11-year-old girls to be able to get abortion pills shows that you do not believe in God. That's for sure. Doesn't any form of abortion at any point in a pregnancy encourages this type of disrespectful attitude toward life?
I'm not really clear on your question.
In any form of abortion, doesn't that show a lack of respect for life? Anyone who are willing to have or encourage an abortion as a way out.
I don't know what you mean by any form of abortion, but no, I don't believe that having access to safe abortion care shows disrespect for life.
You don't?
No.
How about the baby's life? These women are killing children left and right now. It's out of control. How
I don't know,
about,
but what you mean by these women, I don't know who you're talking
I'm
about.
talking about liberal, godless women. They're having abortions like 90 going north.
Well, let's get some facts in here. 1 in 3 women in the United States has an abortion at some time in her life. 1 in 3 women. That's a third of all women in the United States, including people you know. And 90% of abortions take place in the first trimester.
This is
Those
why these
abortions
women
that
need
take
good
place-
men. I'm telling
Excuse
you,
me?
if these women had good men to watch over them and guide them, they would not be having abortion. When you leave these type women alone, when you let them make decisions, they end up making bad decisions for the family, for their own personal lives, and for their children's lives. It's just awful. We got to get men back in their proper state of being so they can prevent these things from happening. You have to agree with that, right?
I don't agree with it at all, but I mean, you're clearly on an ideological streak, so.
Let me ask, because of time, are you okay with the parents not knowing that their daughters are going and purchasing these morning after pills without their consent or even knowing about it? Is that okay for you?
Can you rephrase the question? I'm sorry?
Are you okay with 15-year-old girls purchasing the morning after pill without the consent or knowledge of their parents?
As I said earlier, if a girl
Give me a yes or no on that
needs
first.
that pill and doesn't have that kind of relationship with her parents, I'd rather see her get access to emergency contraception and not become pregnant than to see her become pregnant and later have to have an abortion.
So is that a yes, that you're okay with the parents
I'm
not...
okay with the science, with what the science says.
No,
yes.
no. Come on,
Mhm,
stay
yes,
with me.
I'm okay with what the science says, exactly.
Stay with me. Are you personally, Jody, okay?
I am personally okay with it because the science tells me that this is what is needed to reduce unintended pregnancy among teens.
God forbid, but let's say that a 15-year-old girl should go out and get pregnant. She has sex, she get pregnant. Isn't it better for her all around to have that baby so that she can learn from that and not repeat it? Because if they can just pop pills
You
now...
think it's better for a 15-year-old girl to have a baby
If they can just pop pills, they're
as
not...
a lesson, as a punishment?
As a lesson.
You think it's better to force a 15-year-old child to have a baby herself, thereby probably not being able to finish her education, get a job, do productive things in society she might want to do, rather than being able to prevent that pregnancy from happening?
Yes.
Well, we have a very strong difference of opinion.
Let me take one final break here. I'll let you give out your website, your information as soon as I return. Back in a moment. Amazing folk, liberal, godless women creating a shameless society. The Plan B one-step website says that one of the ways it works is by altering the endometrium, which may inhibit implantation. That's from planb1step.com. We're talking about the morning after pill, the abortion pill. Jody Jacobson is with me, president and editor of chief of RH Reality Chat, a daily publication providing news, commentary, and analysis on sexual and reproductive health and justice issues. And she believes that 11-year-old girls should be able to have, well, at least go and pop the pill without the consent or knowledge of parents. She thinks that 15-year-old should not have been the limitation on these morning after pills. Jody, do you have a website you'd like to give out?
Yes, it's www.rhrealitycheck.org.
Why did your husband leave you?
Actually, I left him
And why did you leave him?
because I lost respect for him.
You did. Why was that?
That's a personal issue.
Was he the head of you? Was he strong enough for you?
That's a personal issue. It has really nothing to do.
And the reason I ask because I noticed that men are becoming weak when dealing with their women, and when they become weak, women hate weak men, and they end up going out as you have done, and they make crazy decisions. I want men to be strong so that they can help liberal women overcome their insanity.
Help me overcome my insanity.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's going to be bad for the children if the fathers are not around to protect their children from liberal mothers.
Got it.
Okay. So what do you say about this? The Plan B one-step website says that one of the ways this pill works is by altering the endometrium, which may inhibit implantation. Is that true?
I'm sorry, say that again. Is what true?
One of the ways this pill works is by altering the endometrium, which may inhibit implantation.
No, actually, Plan B does not work that way. The studies have shown now conclusively that Plan B prevents ovulation and therefore prevents fertilization. Once fertilization has occurred, Plan B has no effect.
But that's what the website for the product says. Are you saying that they're lying?
No, I'm saying that what happens with an FDA label is that an FDA label is created when an application is submitted based on the most current science.
Well,
and another label has to be created once new science comes out and an application goes through. So like with 30% of the drugs that we use in this country, many of the most important drugs in this country, they are used in what is called an off-label fashion. What that means is that since the original label was approved, new science has proven something else about that label. So you have many drugs
Jody,
that we use normally in this country.
PlanBOneStep.com is lying to us about what the pill,
No,
the
they're
way
not.
that the pill
They
works.
have to legally represent what the FDA has approved as its label previously, but new science has shown and will eventually be reflected in the labeling that the efficacy and the mechanism of action of Plan B is to prevent ovulation.
Let me ask, so in your heart, Jody Jacobson, you're okay with 11-year-old, 50-year-old girls having sex? Well, you don't necessarily want them to have sex, but if they should be allowed to go and get an abortion pill without the consent or knowledge of their parents. And you're okay with that?
If a child
Why are you
should
calling
have
it a child now?
sex,
But is it a child?
I would prefer
Well,
that
why
that
would you-
child not become pregnant. I understand that you feel that the child should become pregnant and be punished in that way. I would prefer that they not become pregnant. I would prefer that they be able
But to have
prevent a
an
pregnancy.
abortion is punishment because they will be traumatized for
There's
life.
no abortion involved.
No, this isn't abortion.